With that being said, I will nominate Trustee Jackson, who will fill as chair this evening for the board meeting. I just need a second.
Support.
All right, that has been supported. Do I have any others? Okay. With that being said, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All right, motion passes. Trustee Jackson will be chair this evening.
Okay, meeting has been called to order. Would everyone stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance with me? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would everyone remain standing while Clerk Sanders gives the invocation?
Almighty God, we acknowledge that you hold us to account for the way we legislate and administer the affairs of our township and its fine people. We pray for your guidance as we do so. We pray that you would find us protecting the rights of all at all times, that our community and this nation will fulfill all of your purposes. Amen.
Amen.
Clerk Sanders, would you take roll, please?
Trustee Taylor?
Here.
Clerk Sanders? Here. Trustee Reese?
Here.
Trustee King? Absent. Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Here.
Trustee Jackson?
Here.
Supervisor McCray? Absent.
May I have someone approve the agenda?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
I move that we approve the agenda. Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We have 2 citizens' comments. We have Thomas Bach. Oh, you guys are coming up together. Thomas Bach and Chief Mansfield.
Yeah. Well, I put it, yeah,
He put us on the same one, but I thought it was 2 different ones. But
same one.
Okay.
Thomas Bach, 13554 Norborn. I represent VFW Post 345 with the commander. Jen Mansfield, she is my auxiliary president for Post 345. We just want to say thank you to everyone for yesterday for the Memorial Day service, for coming out. It means a lot to us and to auxiliary for their dedication.
No, absolutely. Thanks to everybody that came out. We had some residents out there. Director Bonarek, thank you for your awesome vocals as usual. And we do truly appreciate each of you that came out, spent some time supporting our veterans. You guys watched us unveil our tree of suicide awareness with veterans. So we always appreciate that support. We just want to say thank you to
Thank you.
everyone.
Of course. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will now have departmental updates from Fire Department with Fire Chief Chris Mays.
Good evening, Honorable Board. How's everybody doing tonight?
Good.
Good. All right, I think I last came to you in October where I had a department update. I was still the interim chief at that time, and it was a very lengthy presentation that I cut down a few minutes beforehand. This will be significantly brief. I'm going to review 2025, being that we just finished our fiscal year. Starting off, our mission statement is to protect lives and property through exceptional customer service, emergency response, and proactive community risk reduction. You already know how many residents we serve, how big the township is. We have the 2 fire stations, 3 shifts, 24/7. We have an operations division, fire prevention division, as well as our emergency medical division as well. Our specialty groups or capabilities were part of the hazardous materials group through Western Wayne County, consortium of 22 fire departments in Wayne County. They all have members. Jason Kickbush back there, he's one of the members. If you see on the news currently in Garden Grove, California, there's a hazardous materials incident that's leaking. Those are the guys trained that specialize in handling those incidences. So currently we have 2 members on that team. We also, as part of that consortium, have an urban search and rescue team. We currently have 2 members on that team, and we have 2 in training, 1 that will be retiring in the next year or so. So we're bringing another guy along with training right now to get him up to speed. There's 2 members getting up to speed to be full-time members of that. So all in all, we'll have 3 members on that USAR team when the time comes. Looking at our total call volume for 2025, we ran 7,435 calls. That's between 2 stations. That's an average of over 20 calls in a 24-hour period. So these guys are running. These guys are running like crazy. They're doing a great job. Occasionally we have our rescue towing service that helps out a lot. We're talking about mutual aid responses in the past. In 2025, we had 71. In previous years, we'd had almost double that. So we're still in pretty good shape as far as that. Now, we don't reciprocate. They don't use us as much as we use them. But as we get manpower growing, I think that'll ease that number a little more as well. This is a 3% increase in call volume from the previous year. Another interesting statistic that I looked back on, I could easily accessible, go back 11 years to see our run volume 11 years ago in 2014. And it was 5,326. So we're talking an 11-year span, like a 39% increase in call volume, which is huge, right? At this time, due to multiple factors, right? You've got an aging population, more chronic disease. You have an opioid epidemic that's still ongoing. But one of the biggest factors that we've seen, or that studies show, is that people are now using emergency medical service and emergency departments as their primary care, right? And the issue with that is not only call volume and us having the resources to respond, but also the cost, right? We can't turn away. If someone calls 911, we're taking them to the hospital. We're providing that service as well as the emergency department. So previously, things that maybe weren't an emergency are now being called an emergency. So that's a big portion of why our run volume has increased. As of right now, 76% of our calls are EMS related. That's pretty typical for Wayne County in ratio to fire calls and emergency medical services. So it's pretty standard across the board in Wayne County. 24% of fire and other incidences. Those are things such as actual building fires. Total fires last year, 127. That includes building fires, car fires, any type of fire, right? So we're looking at carbon monoxide, down power lines, which you have a couple storms come through, you're sometimes looking at a couple hundred calls. So sometimes those years are kind to us, sometimes they're not. We've seen extreme weather over the last handful of years. Excuse me. Moving on to fire prevention, EMS, and community risk reduction. We have implemented updated software platforms for fire investigations, inspections, pre-planning. That's been in the works for about a year. We're utilizing at this time, it's just basically keeping up with the times. For a while there, we were still pen and paper, right? We have expanded the fire prevention division. We added an inspector, and I believe that was back in October, November timeframe. That's Dave Mondin. He's passed his first round of fire inspection testing. He has a second round to go, which he should likely pass in August. Once he's a fully certified fire inspector, then we move on to arson investigation in school for that. So that will probably take another year. But he's been out and about with our fire marshal, currently going through inspections and learning the trades of the job. Our our smoke detector installation program. I think we're on its second year now. We're continuing to do that. There was a while where the state of Michigan was out of smoke detectors, so we had to stop that program for a little while they restocked. To date, we have installed in a total of 320 homes, over 2,000 smoke detectors. So guys are doing a good job. It's obviously manpower dependent when we have the guys available to install these detectors, but that's working out great. We have a backlog, I think, if you try to sign up today, till like August. So we generally book 50 people at a time, or 50 households at a time, and then there's a waiting list from there. Recently, at the beginning of the year, we partnered up with Maddox Chevrolet as well as Corewell Health for our car seat inspection program, which is held at Maddox, and that is the third Wednesday of every month. I believe it starts at 10 a.m., goes till 3, and we have a couple guys trained that are out there and making sure the car seats are installed properly, that they're not out of date. So a great service to the community that we provided in the past, and we look forward to continuing that in the future. Enhanced documentation and operational efficiency through digital reporting. Again, keeping up with technology, right? Updating our software. We had some big transitions at the beginning of the year that guys have done really well with. There's some challenging as far as reporting, but we're working through that as we speak. Training and professional development. As I mentioned, we have one member currently completing the fire inspector training, 2 members in search and rescue, already stated that, and 1 member attending Eastern Michigan University Staff and Command Program. That is me. So once a month for a full week, I attend EMU with various different ranks of different departments, outstanding leadership program. Just an excellent opportunity for networking and resources. It's really helped me, and I've actually really enjoyed it. As much as I didn't want to go back to school, it's been amazing. So we've talked. I know Chief Mansfield generally sends someone every year. The fire department's going to look to do the same and invest more in our employees. I think it's a great idea. Again, we're continuing our focus on leadership, development, certifications, operational readiness. Also going through an executive coaching program here in the township that other department heads are going through, and I've found some of the one-on-one sessions extremely valuable as well. So we're kind of looking outside the box of our typical fire training to provide some resources to make these guys successful as they promote up the ladder. Apparatus and vehicles. We've recently formed committees, both for our fire engine apparatus as well as our rescue units. There's 3 members on each team, and they are in charge of maintenance. It's one of the things we've lacked over the years, keeping on top of the maintenance of our trucks. It's all digital as well. These guys have been doing an outstanding job getting everything up to speed, so things are working out really well for that. Our new Sutphen engine we placed in service in November. That truck is amazing to drive, correct? I haven't driven it yet. They really like it. We ordered it 4 years ago, something like that, right? We received it back, I think, September timeframe, put into service in November. It's a great truck. We also have a new Medics Rescue unit that should be arriving sometime in August as of right now. Technology, we've got new radios. Nick Philly, I don't think he's here today, but he spearheaded upgrading our radios. PD also did the same. Just increased reliability, safety features, interoperability between other departments as well. So a nice upgrade as well. Touching on software management platforms, again, I don't want to get too technical, but more technology that we're keeping up to date with. Facilities and future planning. The South Station renovation project was completed in this past February. That involved the kitchen, also all the flooring, all the living spaces with the exception of the dorm room, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. Turned out great. Guys really liked the updates. I also came to you guys in March for bay floor refurbishing. that was completed last month, and that's great. It was greatly needed, and it has really turned out nice. So you guys are happy with that as well, so thank you very much. Continue planning for future station equipment and vehicle needs. So future station right now, the south end, the dorm rooms, just one big room, right? We've talked about and set aside funds for a project to make individual dorm rooms, sleeping quarters. Sleeping being the most important part of the mental and physical health of these firefighters. They used to find that, hey, it's all the trauma you see. Well, they've actually found that sleeping is number one. So how can we control that, right? Well, we can control it by not having a room of 5 different rhythms of snoring in a room, right? So similar to our north end station, they have individual dorm rooms, right? Individual sleeping quarters. So I've already met with Rewald and Ezo briefly to talk about that project to make individual dorm rooms in our south end station. The other projects down there, there's the Parks and Rec building area that at some point they'll be vacating and the fire station will take over. So we've had talks about what we're going to do with that space, but nothing definitive as of yet. Vehicle needs, I will be coming to you probably in the August, September timeframe for a new fire engine. The lead time is about 32 months. I don't want to shock anybody. There's been significant price increases. The manufacturer told us on the last truck, they actually lost money because of the pricing they gave us, and then till delivery, they didn't price in all those increases. So it will be a little bit of sticker shock, but the good news is they've made our truck a production vehicle. And what that means is it's one of the line vehicles now. It's not one of these customized ones that's on the side. It means other departments are using this. So pricing will be a little easier to swallow, but we'll tackle that when the time comes, I hope. Looking ahead, we're talking about making an officer development program, separate from just the requirements of what are required to be a fire officer in the fire department. Those are minimum qualifications. Again, I think there's training outside that box. One of the things we went to last month was the Fire Department Instructors Conference. It's held once a year. 4 individuals from the department, including myself, went. There's leadership courses. There's active live fire training courses. There's tactical courses. There's endless. And these instructors, they're from all over the world. So their knowledge base just, it blows us away. But these guys came back so invigorated and so excited to bring some of that knowledge and education back that they've been training like crazy, sharing the new techniques and things they've learned while they were there. So I think that's something we're going to learn or that we're going to continue in the future. And I think it can only make us stronger as a department. Long-term strategic and capital improvement planning. As you know, annual capital improvement planning is part of the budget process. I previously talked a little bit with Director Bonarek about strategic planning for the fire department. What does this look like 5 years down the line? What does it look like after I'm gone? So we formed a committee, and we're putting together ideas, and we'll have a loose document, I would say, in the next 6 months or so, and it's going to be a living document, right? It's going to be updated over the years, but it gives you guys, it gives the fire department some idea of what this looks like in the future. So I think it's a great idea. Continue enhancing emergency response capabilities. I'm going to tie it into the next one. A strong commitment to service excellence, safety, and operational readiness. I'm going to link this up with the Chamber of Commerce, because those guys are all deserving of the awards. For those of you who were able to attend, it was a special night for me because I got to reward the guys that I worked side by side with over the years. And it's a pretty special moment, but their dedication to excellence and their service to the community and the community's support as well. It was a great night and amazing. Community engagement, we have recently partnered up with Methodist Children's Home Society. along with Chief Mansfield and PD. And we had a basketball game with, I have 18 foster children there. A few months ago, the guys organized a basketball game and had a great time. Recently, they did a kickball tournament as well. Chief Mansfield was there as well as our guys, and some JCs, Chamber of Commerce representatives as well. So a great way to bring the community together and have some positive interactions, with the foster children. Not seeing them just on emergencies or bad situations, right? Like, providing some mentorship and some guidance to these kids. I think the guys had a really great time. So we appreciate Raquel over there. She does an outstanding job. So. And on to recruitment and retention. We have 6 current openings. As of June 1st, we'll have 4 current openings. So we're swearing in 2 fully qualified members on Monday. So we're very excited about that. We had 2 members in April graduate from the Fire Academy from Schoolcraft. One of them had several awards, I think 3 different awards. One for academic excellence, another for academics, and then one for leadership. So they performed, represented themselves and the department, as well as the township well. So we have one that's becoming manpower tomorrow. The other one, he's already manpower. So these guys are fully certified, ready to go. So that'll be 4 new guys in the last, 6-7 months here. So we're trending in the right direction. Hope to see more of it. And again, we're focusing on getting the right people here. We're not looking to be a stepping stone. We're looking to be a destination department. So very excited for the future, and these guys have all been kicking butt. And I appreciate it and appreciate your time tonight. Are there any questions?
To the chair.
We'll take questions from the board.
Just a quick question.
Yes.
Where would you consider hazardous property within Redford or boundary to Redford that you would consider, something would drastically go wrong?
Sure. There's actually, I believe, 13 different properties within Redford that qualify for what's called Sarah Title III, that they have a certain amount of hazardous materials on their property. Some of them are just gas stations, just simply by volume, right? But there's several other, and I can show you the list as well, but I don't have it in front of me. But 13 properties that qualify under that. We're required to inspect them annually. They're required to supply documents both to us and to the state every year, recertifying with their emergency operation plans and what they have in storage there.
All right, that's a lot, but thank you.
Absolutely.
To the chair. Chief, my question is about the call volume, which is concerning that it has gone up so much. The risk of, and you just stated, sleep is one of the most important things for the job. So how do you run so many calls without risking burnout of the staff? And then I also wondered, is there some kind of equation of staff to runs that is recommended by the state or anything to meet a certain safety standard?
That is a great question. As part of my staff and command class, they stated that 1/5 of your time of that 24-hour period should be on calls. All that other time should be training, rest, and doing other things. So I don't have that exact statistic for us, right? Those 20 calls are split between 2 stations. Mm-hmm. Sometimes both stations are responding, like fire calls. Absolutely. Different departments have done different things as far as scheduling, but that's more of a collective bargaining issue. That's not for discussion here. I do allow, right? We have downtime where you can take naps during the day. These guys exercise, they run their butts off. So we allow them to get a little cat nap here and there. Absolutely. But that's an ongoing struggle in the fire service. Absolutely. It's nothing that's just with Redford. We have it next door in Livonia, Dearborn Heights, so it's nothing unique to Redford.
So there's no general consensus on what the solution is to prevent kind of burnout for lack of sleep when your run volume is larger than your department?
There's ways to go about it, but not within the realm of my control at this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And we can absolutely, discuss as well, but
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
you're welcome.
To the chair,
Trustee Reese?
on that same topic, you said, there's been a shift obviously in demographics around aging population. You also noted things that typically weren't considered emergencies before are now being called in as emergencies. Are those calls, is the duration shorter? Obviously, the volume's up, but is it also like, oh, these are 5-minute things for you, this isn't even an emergency?
Great point. Yes, generally those calls, we move quickly to get them to the hospital and be ready for the next emergency for, I'd say, more advanced calls or more critical calls. So yes, those are, times where, hey, we come in, we evaluate the situation quickly and we transport that patient. But those still take time because you take them to the hospital, you got to call in a radio report, you get to the hospital and transferring care. So even a half an hour, 6 times a day, it all adds up, right?
I guess I'm curious, are there times where you arrive and say, this doesn't even qualify, or if they request a ride to the hospital, that's provided no matter what?
It's provided no matter what. We cannot deny them transport if they want it, is what it comes down to. The only time in the history of us being here was during COVID. That was the one time there was an exception, right? Depending on what your vital signs were, your symptoms were, where we could actually tell a resident, we can't take you, the hospital can't take you right now. But besides that, there's no choice in the matter. There's too much liability there.
Of course.
And we have to follow our protocols, but yes, we do run into those situations.
Yeah, so you're facing that 39% volume increase, and even if something's not really an emergency, you have to treat it like one, so that's a big responsibility to take on.
Yes, and we have seen a little bit of leveling off after COVID, right? There was some leveling off, there's a spike because people weren't getting care before. So, like I said, a 3% increase in call volume year over year isn't crazy, but when it keeps being 3% over and over and over, right? Then you got to start looking at the bigger picture, right? So,
Yeah. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Additional questions from the board? Questions
Chair.
from the audience? Director Bonner?
I just want to make sure too for Trustee Reese that, the other side of that coin too is also that means the taxpayers are picking up more of that burden. Funding for these EMS runs, as he said, they don't really have a choice. So they have to do what their protocols say, whether the person called for what we might term a legitimate reason or not. I hate to really use that word, but then we have to pick up the cost. Funding this has become a really big problem over the years. And we talk about something like the 39% increase in run volume, but if you look at the revenues related to EMS runs, they're not up by 39%. So that difference is continuing to be picked up by the taxpayer. The real solution, going back to Trustee Taylor's question, would be that we need residents to stop using 911 services as primary care. Right, but that's a much bigger problem to tackle. Yeah.
Yes.
Any additional questions? Thank you, Chief Hayes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consent agenda items.
Thank you.
Treasurer Kavanaugh.
Thank you, trustee Jackson, I'm sorry. I drew a blank. I apologize.
It was Jackson.
I
Warren.
I usually supervisor. Okay, I move to approve the consent agenda items as follows. The minutes for the special meeting held May 12th of 2026. The minutes of the regular meeting held May 12th of 2026. The warrant list of bills as of May 19th of 2026 in the amount of $2,514,895.14. Advertisement for bid, Department of Public Services, DPS, Water Division, Water Service Lines, Investigation and Verification Project, Phase 3.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Consent agenda approved. New business item number 1. Approval of the marijuana retail establishment application extension for 90 days be rejected to application number MR-021, JDK Redford LLC, DBA Flower Clinic located at 26799 8 Mile Road, Redford, Michigan.
Trustee Jackson, Honorable Board. In front of you today is a memo in regards to marijuana applicant MR-021, also known as the Flower Clinic. Last year in April, and then carried over to May, the Township Board did approve the conditional approval for marijuana retail establishment and special use permit at this location. The applicants, as we did this 30 days ago for 6 other applicants, were to submit, if they were not going to get their project completed within that 1-year time frame, were allowed to apply for up to 180-day extension. This applicant here, just to give you a background of it, per my memo, my spreadsheet that I have provided for all applicants and a picture, followed through at the point up until August. They did appear in front of site committee, did get a site approval from our committee, and at that point, nothing else happened. Mr. Camo did provide his I think it was his sister-in-law, provided a letter we received on May 6th, which was May 6th at night, inquiring about getting a 90-day extension to this project. Obviously, at that point, the Township Board agenda had already been set for the last meeting, so I did inform Mr. Camo on Friday, May 8th, that I would submit this to the Township Board. I have discussed this with Township Attorney Tony Chubb as well, and that we would present this to the board. I have presented two reasons here. Is that one is the applicant's approval did expire on May 13th. Today is May 26th. So it's already 2 weeks past the approval when it ended. Secondly, no work has been done. There has been no work. The permits were not pulled. I know on the letter to explain on the letter on page, it was on page 3 or 4 of your handout, that Mr. Campbell was dealing with a personal issue. His wife did pass, and that was the reason that they gave, that they did not pursue anything since August of 2025. But there's been no work done on the property. There is full demolition that has to be completed on an adjacent property, a property that needs to be developed into a parking lot, and in full development on his parcel, which is currently a auto collision center. I just don't feel there's any way he's going to get this done. He does have to go back to site committee per ordinance, which won't occur for another 30 days because we're already booked up until almost the end of June. That right there is another 30 days. He has to come back. I feel for his loss. I understand, and that he was dealing with a personal issue and could not proceed. But at this point, it does not meet the criterias that are per Redford Township ordinance and our ordinance for marijuana establishments regarding, one is the license already expired 2 weeks ago, and secondly, he's done no work. Again, no fault of his own, but he cannot, in our opinion, they asked for a 90-day extension, and that means he has 60 days to do full demolition of a building, which will also take some potential Wayne County permits, and I just don't feel as though it's going to meet the criteria per our ordinance.
To the chair.
He is also here in the audience too. I apologize. I wanted to say that. Sorry about that.
My condolences to Mr. Camo. I did read in the letter about the personal loss back in January of this year. A couple of things that I took note of. A going back and reading the ordinance that I feel that, in spite of his loss personally this year, that in order to qualify for an extension, the ordinance language reads that the conditional license will lapse and be void if such permits and approvals are not diligently pursued within that 12-month period. And that to obtain a full authorization for an additional 6 months is on the written request of the applicant at least 30 days prior to the cancellation. As you noted, it came in 7 days prior to the expiration. But I also, my concern, just because we're so cautious about the legal actions that we take and that we do everything by the book, is that I went back and pulled the original application of Mr. Camo, and he is a sole proprietor LLC. He is the applicant. So my concern is the letter that we received requesting an extension wasn't actually from the applicant. It was from his sister, who we had no proxy saying that she could speak legally for the business or for the applicant. And the letter came from her in lieu of the applicant himself. So I would even say, from a legal standpoint, we have not received a letter from the applicant requesting an extension, because it came from a family member who is not in a legal position to speak for the business in this matter. So, in addition to the challenging work ahead, I would say that that the terms of the ordinance have not been met based on those two conditions regarding requesting an extension for the license.
Any other questions from the board? What's the pleasure of the board?
To the chair,
Trustee Taylor?
I move that we deny the request for extension for applicant MR-021 JDK Redford LLC DBA Flower Clinic located at 26799 8 Mile Road, Redford, Michigan.
Support.
Roll call vote.
Trustee Reed?
Yes.
Clerk Sanders, yes. Trustee Taylor?
Yes.
Treasurer Kavanaugh?
Yes.
Trustee Jackson?
Yes. Motion carries. As the approval of the marijuana retail establishment application extension for 90 days to be rejected to application number MR-021 JDK Redford LLC, DBA Flower Clinic located at 26799 8 Mile Road, Redford, Michigan 48240. Thank you, Director Dennett.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
New business number 2, approval of the attached letter of support for the submittal of the Redford Township Historical Commission Margaret Dunning Foundation grant application for the restoration of the 1928 painting New Detroit as it will appear in 1932.
Hello, Trustee Jackson, Honorable
Yes.
Board. I come before you to get approval of support for this grant that the Historical Commission has applied for. As many of you are aware, they received a donation for a painting, and they have gotten a quote that was attached to the board packet for restoring that painting. They did apply for a grant through the Margaret Dunning Foundation and were told that they qualify for a $6,000 grant, which is half of the cost. They do have the other funds to pay the remaining amount. The Dunning Foundation is asking for a letter of support in advance of actually approving the grant, and that's what is attached to the packet. Looking for your support. I do have a member of the Historical Commission here, Kathy Anderson, if you have any questions directly for them. She's here as well.
Questions from the board?
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor?
I have several. I guess
Okay.
you can figure out which ones you want to answer versus which ones go to Kathy. My first concern,
Or come up.
come on, Kathy. is there was a range of estimate to do the repair to this painting. And
Yeah,
the
there-
range is 12,000 to 16,000.
Yeah, that was just for the essential treatment, just to get it.
Correct. So even if it came in at the low end, you currently have 6,000 as a match.
Yes.
What if it comes in at 16,000? Do you have 10,000 to
No.
make that match? Okay. Has your commission voted to approve spending, so I'm assuming that's all of your funds?
Yes,
On this
yes.
project? So they have voted to move forward with expending, is that going to wipe you guys out financially?
Yes.
Okay. And if this project goes over, because I see that especially the range is considerable for the paint repair, what are the terms of the grant? Does it have to be repaid if you can't use the funds, if you can't meet? If it comes in at 16,000, where's that extra $4,000 supposed to come from?
That we don't know. Well, the quote is for different services, right? The 12,000.
No, the final quote that just came in was it's ranging from 12 to 16 because they don't know how much the paint repair is going to run until they get, I think, into the
Into it.
project. So I would say that if there's a risk that this is going to possibly come in at 16 and you don't have the match, then is there any kind of, I don't know, violation sounds harsh, but what the rules of taking that grant are if you, I don't know, does that mean that the township would be on the hook for the other $4,000 but once you commit to this contract to have this work done and you don't have all the money to pay for the full job, if it comes in over 12,000 and you don't have a funding source for that, is that just something that you planned on asking the township to fund?
We didn't get that far in the discussion.
Okay. So, okay, I'll let everybody else ask their questions going from there because I have, yeah. Okay.
Any questions from the board?
To the chair.
Doug Sanders.
Thank you. So I was looking at it, and I'm assuming that we're going with option 2.
Well, yeah.
What we're headed for. And I was just kind of going through it bit by bit. And we're obligated, or they're requesting for us to hang it. And
Yeah.
if you look at it, in option 1, they give us the price where the framing option is there, but there's no framing option in number 2. So is that even anywhere in the price at all, between the 12 and 16? Or would that be an outside cost?
That I don't know.
On top.
Julie, one of our other members, is the one that got that proposal.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if she asked for that or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Good Chair.
Trustee Reese.
Is this grant something that's every year, like they're always looking for applicants, or is this like a one-time deal?
The Dunning Foundation is always looking for applicants.
Okay.
They have a substantial fund that they like to, grant out every year.
Uh-huh.
And I've been told in the past, they typically don't reach that threshold. They don't get enough applicants.
Okay.
So, you can apply, Historical Commission can apply again for something else later.
And it's not by this date each year, it's kind of, you just could apply at any
I
time, and
think
they'll
their
consider it.
deadlines are twice a year.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Similar to the other members of the board, my concern is, I don't want the Historical Commission to be insolvent. And I don't want it to get to the point where you guys are then covering stuff out of your own. I know you guys all care so much, what's gonna happen is, oh no, we're out of money, but we wanna do this event. I'll throw in $50, and I don't want it to be that for the members. So I guess my concern would be proceeding where we, at best case, hit the minimum number. And as we know with all things in life, when you get an estimate, it's usually not the low number. And I guess I just wonder if this is a really cool piece, and I do think it would be cool to have it displayed, and maybe as an event where people can come and check it out. Now I'm just rambling, but as a fundraiser opportunity, I remember when I saw it when it was first acquired, at I think it was the corn event in the summer a year ago. And it was really cool. It's really neat to see sort of the plans back in the early 20th century. So figuring out a way to, I don't know if it's crowdsource, crowdfund, but if there's ways to do that and then approach this again in 6 months or a year when there's available funds to do so.
So they do have, the reason they asked for us to come to you now was they do have a review process towards the end of June, but they also have another one in September.
Okay.
So perhaps it might be wise to do a little follow-up with the Dunning Foundation, see if the grant could get increased, if that was their max. This was handled solely by the Historical Commission, and Julie was unable to make it. And we could revisit those discussions with them, and then perhaps come back at a later time, and they could review it at the September submission.
That'd be great. And additionally, using that word, and hey, we need to match this amount. If they were to increase to 8,000, I think that's always a good call to action to get community engagement. So.
To the chair.
Treasurer Gabbard.
I think all of us here feel that that's probably what you should do, but also the revenue that you bring in, although small, you should probably also do, as, you know, with your historical commission, is bake sales and items that maybe open up an extra day when people can come over instead of just the weekend or something. I don't know, whatever, you know, your foot traffic is, or maybe even collaborate with others in order so no matter how much you spend, you still have something in the coffers, because you never know. Absolutely. So I think coming back or even finding out if they can increase it or what the deadline is as far as to spend it and work with it that way.
To the chair.
Trustee Taylor.
Looking at potentially the cost of framing could run upwards to $1,600 according to the original quote, which could end up bumping that job to $18,000 potentially. I would recommend that we table this item until such time that the Historical Commission could come back with more financial details and the ability to show that you can cover your match to the full amount without, of course, breaking the bank, right? And maybe even recommend setting up a fund within the commission solely for earmarking the money for this project itself. And then maybe at that time, when you are able to bring back some solid financial support for this project, maybe at that time you can also find out what other grant opportunities are available, and you might not have to come up with as much money. But I wouldn't feel comfortable approving this letter, saying that we're going to hang it, which is part of the agreement, without knowing what that bottom line cost is going to be, and knowing not that you just have just enough funds to scrape by, but enough to still leave you a little bit of money left over to be able to do some of the projects that you enjoy doing as well. So my motion would be to table this item until such time the Historical Commission can provide us with more financially stable information for this project.
I just have a question. Why is it important enough to you to wipe your entire budget out for this project?
Because it's something that needs to be done. I mean, this painting it's unbelievable. Have you seen it?
Do you want to show us?
Well, this is just a poster of the.
Yeah, I know.
The original one is 11 feet long. It's just something that needs to be preserved. Did you want to see it up close?
No, I mean, I looked at it, but I was just curious why it was important enough for you to want to
Now, as a commission, we
expend your
decided
entire budget on that.
it needed to be out there so everybody could see it.
Motion on the table is to table this until more information can be provided, and also to look at the possibility of additional grant funding. I'd like a second to that
Support.
motion. Everyone approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
We will just table this until
Thank you.
more information.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Announcements from the board.
To the chair. I just want to thank everyone that came out and participated for our annual Shred Day. we were able to shred 12,022 pounds of paper, which is equivalent to saving 62 trees. So I just really want to thank everyone who came out and participated, and also for those who also brought items or donated to Brevard Interfaith as well. So thank you again.
Any more announcements from the board? Announcements from the audience? I see Senator Kavanaugh there. Do you have anything you want to share with us?
I do. Just coming to thank you guys for everything that you do, and to make sure that everyone knows that we have a Detroit district office. And so every Friday, we have district office hours. And so we have staff that can do constituent casework, resource booklet, precinct delegate support. We can also look to see if there's any grants available in your area, to see if there's any extra funding at the state level. And also every fourth Friday, I have coffee hours for legislative updates. And so we talk a little bit about the budget, what we can bring down to the community, and what's going on in Lansing. And that's every fourth Friday from 1 to 2 o'clock at our Detroit office, 17346 Lasher Road in Detroit, and the next one is June 26th. So I just wanted to share that so everyone can know that they have a place to advocacy of what's important to them, also what programs that they might be worried about, and there's a big August 4th primary, and there's a lot of talk about what the vote in the ballot box might look like, and our clerk is doing a fantastic job, and I also have resources and Q&A for anybody that's interested of any voter information that they want to ask at the state level. So appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other announcements? There being no further business, this meeting is adjourned.